Hey guys, it's Sam, and today's video is so long awaited. I didn't even realize how long it's been since I filmed one of these videos, since I went back on my channel and looked, because I remember thinking in my head, oh, I filmed this video during quarantine, so it hasn't been that long. And then little do I know, quarantine, the beginning of quarantine was a year ago, which is a very long time ago. So it's been literally 9 months since I filmed reacting to my subscribers' paranormal stories. I love filming these videos. I love everything about these videos. I love reading your stories. I love the fact that you guys can go down and read each other's stories in the comments. I love seeing you guys interact about each other's stories. I don't know, it's just so cute. I just love these videos. They're so like, everyone's like a big friend group. So I can't believe I waited 9 months to do a part 3. Part 3 or 4? I think we're on part 3. As always, if you do have some stories that you want to share and you want me to read to my channel, I guess, you guys can comment your stories in this comment section and I read almost all of them. Pretty much all of them. And if you don't want your story public, you can always just DM me your story on Instagram. This is my Instagram right here. And I read those too. Just send it to me wherever and I will read it and possibly share it in my next video, my next paranormal reacting story. As always, thank you guys so much for the amount of stories that you have commented. You guys are always amazing with this. The comments are just flooded with your stories and I just love reading them. It's been 9 months, so I've been building up for a minute now, but I finally got to go through them. I promise you guys, I literally read them all. So I think that's everything I have to say. So without, like, okay, let's get into the video. Oops. I stain every piece of I just got a lisp. I stain every piece of clothing I own. So the first story is a pretty spooky. It is by, I don't know how to pronounce this name, but I think it's Brissa? I'm not sure. So before she was born, she said her mom used to babysit her neighbor's daughter. And she said she didn't want to use her neighbor's daughter's actual name, so she was named Julie. Julie's parents worked at night, which meant that her mom was going to watch Julie at night. Why did I say that? So her mom, she says her mom at the time used to live alone, so Julie would just sleep in her room with her, and they'd have little sleepovers, and everything was fine usually. And then she said, as a side note, she said that her mom had a closet in her room and it was really old and creepy and it just gave it just gave her mom bad vibes. And she said that she would even sometimes hear like hangers like moving at night, which is so unsettling and creepy. But she said for the most part nothing else crazy would happen in the house, and she kind of just ignored that little thing and just like would pray to help her fall asleep and just like kind of like moved on because it was no big deal really. So one night when Julie actually was staying at her house, she said that in the middle of the night her mom woke up to like hearing noises in the living room, and she woke up and realized that Julie like wasn't in her bed with her. Like obviously naturally she probably panicked a little bit because that's not even her kid and she's supposed to be watching them. So she jumped out of bed and she followed where the noises were coming from in the living room, and she saw Julie in the living room playing, and she said it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, like it was the middle of the night. She was like asking her, she's like, what are you doing? Why are you like playing at 3 o'clock in the morning? Like what are you doing? And Julie replied, this is so freaking scary. She said, I'm playing with my friend. No, this is the one, like, this is why I don't want kids. Like, if there's one reason that would keep me from wanting kids, this is the reason. Oh my god, if my kid ever tells me it's playing with something that's not it, I don't even care. Imaginary friends aren't even allowed in my house. I'm not kidding, it's so scary. So her mom just picked up Julie, carried her back to the bedroom, and like tried her best to fall asleep the best you could after the kid laying next to you says it's playing with somebody that's not there. So then the next day she gives Julie back to her, I almost said owners, to her parents, and obviously she tells her what happened. She was like, oh my god, like tells her everything, like your daughter was playing with somebody that wasn't there at 3 o'clock in the morning, it was crazy, whatever. To which her mom says, I haven't told you this because I don't want to freak you out, but every time she's not going to your house, she says, I need to go play with my friend or she'll get mad. Usually scary stories, when I'm telling them to you guys, they don't get to me, but this one's spooky as hell. I don't like this one. So naturally, after she heard that Julie was saying that to her mom, she decided to have someone come investigate and figure out what was going on, seeing if they could figure anything out. And they said that the closet that was making her uncomfortable, they sensed a lot of spirits in that general vicinity. So basically the ghosts were living in the closet, and that's why the hangers were shaking. And I hate that a lot, especially because this is somebody who has a crawl space that likes to play games with them in their closet. So this is a very unsettling story for me that I never want to talk about again. No. Well, yeah. So yeah, that is story number 1, and we started off with a really scary one. And you guys know that I like to start off with the least scary one and go to the most scary one. But I don't know if that's happening this time because that one's really scary. On to story number 2. Oh, thank you so much for telling me your story. That one is definitely terrifying. I enjoyed reading it, and yeah, that's it. Okay, next story. So this next story, another terrifying one. You guys really hit me with the spooky ones this time around. This is by, oh no, I cut off the name when I was screenshotting it. I'm so sorry. I cut off your name, so I don't know who this is by, but if this is by you, definitely comment. This story is very spooky, and it's another one when I read it. Usually stories don't get to me, but she got to me. So this girl says that she like kind of shared a room with her mom for a little bit. I mean, not literally, but like their closet connected their room, if that makes sense. So it was like kind of like the same room, but like different. Like their closets were connecting the rooms. Well, actually, I'm kind of confused. She said, so me and my mom shared a room for a bit. I slept straight ahead where you enter the bedroom while my mom slept on the other side of the wall we had in our room connecting our closet. So I'm guessing it was like a connecting closet situation. That's what we're going to go with. So she took a nap that day at around 5, and she didn't wake up until 11. So she woke up from her nap, and she's just sitting in the pitch black dark, like on Instagram on her phone. And, ooh, she put her name in there so I could say her name. Love it. So as she's scrolling on her phone on Instagram in the pitch black dark, she hears her mom say her name, which is Alexia. So she was like, yeah, like answering her. And in a whisper voice again, she says, what are you doing? So Alexia answers, she's like, I'm on my phone, like why? And she hears her mom say, come here. So she gets up, she goes over to her mom, and she realizes her mom's not even in her bed. So this one is so scary to me because like it was a full conversation. It wasn't like a hi and then like hi, that was it. Like it was a full conversation. She says she vividly remembers 100% having a conversation with her mom. That's terrifying, but it gets even scarier. So the next morning, she is talking to her mom, and she's like, where were you last night? And she said she was, where was she? She was at her cousin's having some drinks, and she never even went home that night. Like, it was just her and her sister in the house, which is so scary. It's not even like her mom got home late. Like, her mom was not home at all. There was no way it was her mom talking to her, which is so scary. I have chills right now, full on, because this thing said, come here. I hate that so much. Like, that's just so scary. So thank you, Alexia, for sharing your story. It is so scary. So this story is insanely long. Like, it's insane. So it is by Adrian. So thank you so much for taking your time to write all of this, Adrian. Like, it's insane. This also might be the last one because of how long it is. I don't know. I'll see how long it takes me to like react to it, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. So first, Adrian starts off with some back history. So the story is about her grandmother's house, which was built in 1955 in Fort Worth, Texas. And then she goes on, so apparently they know the history of the house, like who has died in it, like the death history. The first death that happened in the house was from an old man who died in the master bedroom from a heart attack, which is so sad. The second death was from a little boy, unfortunately, who died in the backyard from an unknown cause. So those two deaths happened before her family had moved in. But since then, since her family moved in, the house has been in her family for like 3 generations now. So like a super long time. And then this part's really, really sad. And then she said the next death happened while her grandma was actually babysitting a baby boy, and he passed away in his crib. She didn't specify how it happened, but she just said that he passed away in his crib. So those are the 3 deaths that have happened in the house that she believes caused the hauntings that she has experienced and paranormal things she has experienced. So when Adrian and her brother were younger, they would always tell their grandma, this house, like, weird things happen, I swear, like, it's creepy, like, we just experienced the weirdest things. But they were just kids at the time, so of course kids make up crazy stories. So their grandma kind of like brushed it off, and so did all of their family. They didn't really play too much into it, also because they didn't want to freak the kids out, especially because they're kids. And if you're like, oh yeah, the house is haunted, they're gonna like never want to come back. So naturally they were like kind of just brushed it off, ignored it, and didn't think too much of what the kids were saying. So then a few years go by, and she actually has cousins that are born, and the cousins start saying the exact same thing as her and her brother were saying when they were young too. They're like, weird things are happening, like this house is spooky, like it's haunted, you know, which is crazy because they do say that kids are more like sensitive to haunted things. So it does make sense that it's always the kids bringing it up and not the parents. She said she even has memories of her and her little cousin, who was like 6 at the time. They would go to this one room in the house that they called the game room, and they had a pool table in there, and they said they would like put things on the pool table and turn around, and then like after a little bit turn back around and see how the things have moved. So then they would like run back and tell their families the stories, but of course the parents never listen, and they're like, oh yeah, like things are moving, like you're so funny, whatever. And then no one ever believed the kids. So then she had another cousin born, and he was about 3 at the time, and he went outside with her grandma. Their grandma like took him outside to play. And she said they weren't even outside for 5 minutes when her little cousin looks away he looks into the house, like turns his back on their grandma and like looks into the house and asks her grandma, why are all those people inside the house looking at me? So her grandma turns around immediately and looks in the house and says that, she tells him, she's like, I don't see anybody, like what do they look like trying to get more information out of him. But then she said when he noticed that she couldn't see them, he got really shy about it and like didn't want to talk about it anymore, and just never brought it up again. So then finally things started happening to her grandma and all of the adults, really. She said that her grandma started seeing shadows. Her mom would like see things getting thrown across the house. She said the TV would randomly turn on when nobody was there. She said her grandma would hear like kids laughing or like a ball bouncing when nobody was home, if she was home alone. So just really weird stuff were happening. And she said sometimes, so her grandma had dogs, which were typically like really well behaved, but then sometimes randomly in the middle of the night, they would like stand up and growl at the corner with their tail between their legs, which that has happened to me before, so I understand how scary that is. It's just like, especially because you know your dogs, so when they're doing something out of the blue that they wouldn't normally do, like growl at something random, like it's terrifying. So then, I told you guys, the story is so long, but it's like good. So then finally, her and her mom and her brother moved out of her grandma's house into an apartment. And after living in the apartment for a little bit, they started to notice this is so weird. They started to notice little smiley face stickers stuck all around the house, being stuck all around the house. So the smiley faces even like are like, she said at one point like she made her bed, left for a little bit and came back and there was a smiley face just neatly on like her bed. And they don't know where they're coming from. And that is terrifying. Like, I will admit, that is absolutely terrifying. And if that was me, I don't know what I would do. But that is the last story I'm going to be telling because that one was so long, but it was definitely a good one. So thank you so much for taking the time to not only type it out, but like just sharing it in general. So again, if you want me to tell one of your paranormal stories, definitely comment it down below or go to my Instagram and you can DM it to me there. And maybe I will tell it in one of my next stories. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below for more videos from me, and turn on post notifications so you get notified every time I do post. Also, I would love it so much if you guys would give me some video ideas of what you guys want to see, because obviously I want to post content that you guys want to see. It could be paranormal, it could be not paranormal, whatever. If you guys want me to go to another hotel like I did Hotel Henry, I can do that. Just let me know. Let me know what you want me to do, especially because summer's coming up and I definitely want to have fun videos for you guys. Yeah, that's all. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you on the flip side.